Hey guys, it's Lost Astronaut Studios. I'm here today to describe how you can create a pull request that includes your company or game information directly to the website. Now, the pull request does have to be approved by myself or any other admin that eventually will be in charge of approving new content. But the website is entirely hosted by GitHub, and all I pay for is the domain name. And it's done this way so that people who have a GitHub account can just go right to the GitHub and create a pull request with their changes. Since I've never done it before, at least for this website, I'm going to create one that I'm not going to approve just to demonstrate how it can be done with an entirely new GitHub account. Okay, so now we're going to find the location of it, and we're just going to use the search bar, and we're going to do LA Game Studio and hit return. So that's Lost Astronaut Game Studio. All right, so now you'll see that the first thing that comes up is actually lagamestudio.github.io. And that's actually the website. It's not the organization. There is actually an organization called LA Game Studio. If you click on this result, it looks like somebody forked one of my things, so that's the other one. But you click this result, now you're at lagamestudio.github.io, and it's owned by LA Game Studio. So as long as this looks the same, you're at the right place. Now what you have to do is fork it. So you go over here and you click fork. So eventually there may be a lot of these copies of this. You want to again make sure that it's LA Game Studio owning lagamestudio.github.io, which matches the website IndieDEV.space. Okay, and then it's asking to create a repository name. You can leave it the same, which is probably the easiest. And then we're just going to copy the main branch, and the description is fine. It doesn't really matter because we're going to be losing this fork through a pull request. So we create the fork. Now you have a complete copy of the website. Now you can go down to, there's these files here. There's an images folder. There's also a JS folder, and then there's these two JS files, data and market. Those are actually the only two JavaScript things you need to look at, and it's really just data.js. So what market.js does is it allows you to make changes to the way that the site is displayed. And if you had some feature idea that you wanted, you would probably be making your changes in there or in index.html. But if you just need to add data and an image, you're going to put an image in the image folder and you're going to reference it with data.js. So the best first step is to go into the images folder, and then you'll see that there's all of these images there, and they're named things like after a game name, or what works better is if it has like the developer and also the game. But in the end, I didn't really keep this to a specific standard, but it's probably best that you do name it in a way that it is easy to identify who or what it's for. Regardless, there's only these ones at the top. There are some other images here that have to do with the website itself. I don't want you to change any of these. The pull request has to be really clean. And so all I want you to do is upload a file. You don't have to download this or use Git or anything locally. All you have to do is have your file named appropriately, or at least that it could be named appropriately. So then you go add file, upload files in the corner here in the images folder. And you're just going to, choose a file. Hopefully you've already named it. I'm just going to pick a random file from my hard drive that has to do with Appleloon 2, since I'm not going to be approving this. I could just do whatever. But in your case, you're going to want to name this, like, for example, if game you're going to, you know, upload is called Fracture Tricks, it should be called fracturetricks.png at the very minimum. And also, it should be maybe, Carm 3D makes Fracture Tricks. Wow, what a name for that game. But Fracture Tricks dash Carm 3D with no spaces dot ping would be great. A great name for it. So this happen to have something to do with it's not the right size either. So let me backtrack a little bit and say that the size of the file should at least match the aspect ratio of a square or of 16 by 9. You're going to want to look at what's already there. So if we could just quickly take a gander over to IndieDEV.space. Okay, so you'll see that like games like this has a square, this has an elongated sort of portrait mode. Not exactly. It certainly takes up more real estate, but I kind of like it when the text is long enough, or there's a lot of data here that matches. So Skyfrizz is more like the size I was hoping for, and most of these games are like that. So it's just a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. It shouldn't be super high resolution because there's no optimization really done on this. If you do optimize your image, that's best. But I'm not currently optimizing the images, so it's really up to you. It loaded pretty quickly, but So I will allow it to be like other sizes. Like here we have a transparent background, so it looked okay. But not most of them don't have that. Uh, so if you want yours to stand out, you could use a transparent background, or you could try to match like the color scheme here, or you could, you know, have a longer one that shows less games on the screen. But it's sort of like culture jamming. We're trying to show that we're a community. Anyway, Maze Lab, like this doesn't even have the name of the game in it, which it probably should, but it does say it right here, so you get both. Um, and these were just the images that when I at the time I was given or that I could find for these games. So, but people didn't provide them. So if you look at a particular entry for a game, you'll see it says Battle Rockets. That's the name of the game, and there's where it was produced and when it was produced. And if you have a channel already on the Discord, you're going to need to do something with that. And then there's your link, and then there's links to like the stores that you're in. And we're going to go over how you add all that in a little bit. But let's go down to the bottom here and let's look at video game companies. So here we have a list of the video game companies. So there are different types of entries in the data.js file, and the companies are separate to the games, and they have similar data, but uh, you're expecting slightly different. Like most of it looks good with a transparent background down here. It looks like you have a real logo down here. This is all, of course, randomly reordered every time you visit the page. So I don't appear first all the time. Neither will you. This slideshow thing, it's okay. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it was a way to avoid having a super long page. Also, you can upload a tool, and I've only got one so far. We should probably get more people to submit tools that end up on this website, but I understand that people are mainly interested in getting some marketing for their games, and that was the whole point: is to create a marketing a web presence to the Discord, right? So, because like people go to the Discord, but um, it's prominent at the very beginning. It tells you to join it, but Discord is stuck in its little world, and you need to be able to have something that's going to be indexed by Google. And I think it does do that already, but I'll double check. Let's see. We go to Google. What happens if we type IndieDEV.space? Well, anyway, we go there. You see it comes right up to the top there. Um, so that's good. But it doesn't have a lot of information. So I'm going to have to maybe add some Yeah, maybe add some information about add this to my businesses websites or webmaster Google. Anyway, it does at least show up first. So make sure to talk about it that way when you're telling other people about IndieDEV.space, is that it's a website, it can be searched in Google. It has a Discord associated with it. I mean, one of the things is that, and this is just a brief tangent, but one of the things is that on Discord you can have an announcements channel that broadcasts, but who is picking up that broadcast? And so I partly created those features over at IndieDEV.space so that we could become an aggregator. You can mute those channels. In fact, I encourage you to, and look at them only when you want to. But the idea that there would be a place where you're publishing your uh, local announcements too, other than just the void. Like, how many people really follow you as an indie dev? It's hard to find. It gets tiring after a while to have so many different discords for so many different indie games. The point was to create a place that's sort of all as a hub. I mean, it certainly grew out of a certain, precursor discord that was there with Uncle Flip, but part of it is to like really get it to be a mechanical marketing, thing that, allows people to discover new games and to talk to each other, and, more of a community than a lot of these discords where it's like you go there and people are sharing memes and it has nothing to do with the game or whatever, which is fine, but it's not centralized. And then a lot of the indie game sites, like, it's just endless spam bots, and I don't know. There's just a reason to create IndieDEV.space, and this was a good way for me to use a domain name that I've had for a number of years. So anyway, back to the process. So we're in the images folder. We've clicked add file, and now we're going to choose a file that matches the requirements. They don't have to be bigger than 1,000 pixels in one dimension, but they can be as big as you want. So here we have a 16:9, and it's about HD. HD is probably an adequate optimized size for this. I did not optimize the ping with Ping Optimizer or any of the other tools that I could use. It's probably a good idea to do that if you know your way around Photoshop and you can save a web optimized ping, then that's probably better. But anyway, we're going to say like add this to hero game. It's the hero game. So we're going to add this to that hero game. So make sure that that's descriptive. But ultimately, it's all going to be wrapped up into a pull request. So you'll see here now it says that this branch is actually ahead of main, and that just means that we've added an image to it. And now we're going to go to data.js, and we're going to go over here and we're going to click the edit this file button. All right, the little pencil. And now there's only one huge declaration of a variable in here, and it's a huge JSON object. And it says let indie devs equal. And then in here, there's actually a template in the README. So I'm just going to open up another tab here, duplicate this tab, and I'm going to get out of the editing part and go actually back to the README file. And you'll see down here that it describes how to do a company, and it talks about the kinds and stuff like that. And it gives you lists and descriptions of how to write this. But the easiest way to take it is to find another game and just copy paste. So if you already have, first of all, if you don't have a company, you need to have your company submitted along with your game. But if you have a channel on our Discord, you're going to want to do one thing about that. So Pillow Pinky is a game, and since it's in the game mode, and it's helpful that if you use itch in YouTube, then this is a good one to copy. If you scroll down here and find a different game, and this one's on Steam, Android, Mac, and Apple, okay, I could copy that one. Or if you go down even further, There's like, you know, okay, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, Itch. Those are the ones that I use. That's actually a company though. Let me find a game. Here we go. So here's a game, Donut Dodo. It's on Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Itch. This is like my game. That's what I'm kind of getting at is like you can pick a game. I would put it at the top. So put it at the top. And it says kind game. So that can say game, tool, or company. Then title, and then the name of your game. In our case, this made up game is called Hero Game. And the image is images slash, and if you remember correctly, my image was like Xbox underscore hero game art dot ping. So you want to make that referential to your ping file that you just uploaded. The date is the release date. So if it's already been released, remember, you should not be submitting games that have not been released, are work in progress. These have to be released games. So if you have a game and it came out in, let's say, October 31st of 2021, then it follows that format. So month, day, year. Uh, then the location, if you're in, Texas, you can write Texas. You can write Texas, comma, United States. It's all good. Just watch out for the double quotes there because, you know, uh, now if you happen to have a channel on the Indie Dev Discord, then you're going to go ahead and type that channel's name. Let's pretend that we have one. And then I'm going to go to the Discord and I'm going to right click the channel and I'm going to copy link. And then I'm going to paste that link right in here. Okay. So that allows you, if you are already on IndieDev and you're going through the website, you can go right to the channel and talk. There's a link back here. That is the link to your press kit, your game on your website, the information about your game. It can also be a link to your Steam page or whatever your primary page is, your itch page, whatever it is that you have. But it's going to be the one where it says go. So if I go over here, it says go. That's going to take you to the link back. All right. And then there's the links section, and this is where this is an array of kind and URL. Kind is a specific keyword. You're going to have issues if you don't pick the right keyword. Those keywords are listed here, but they may not be fully up to date. I'll have to double check that. For instance, I don't see I see itch. Yeah, maybe this is fairly up to date, but there might be. I think Apple was added. I think Mac was added. But we support these various social media types, and what these do is they override the link and provide the icon, right? So it won't. It would be an issue if you didn't match one of the keywords. The way to see the most up-to-date list is to go into market.js and you'll see that there's a list of them right here. So any of these are going to work in that section. So you can have as many links as you want. You can double up on the same kind if you had multiple Twitters or something. If you wanted to list your whole team, or I don't know why you would need them, but you could double them up, especially when it comes to things like external links. If you have like a wiki, things like that that aren't supported directly, because we don't have wiki. But if you have multiple links, you can just have multiple links. It's just going to pick the icon for you. And then you have your URL, and that's got to be accurate, of course, with an HTTPS or whatever. And that's going to be where, if you're in a thing, these are the results of those links. And when you click on them, they go to that page. So this is in the App Store for Mac for Space Menace. All right. So that being said, that's it. That's all you have to know about that. And then there's paragraph. And so I would suggest writing this in like Notepad, but you cannot use double quotes. You have to have text that is clean of double quotes. And it should all be one line. It can be a very long line. This is a very long line. So you could write a paragraph in another program, like in Notepad or something. Or if you want, if you're into it, you can just write the paragraph here. Like this is this is the greatest game for heroes. Hero game is an amazing uh, experience that blends the genres of first and third person into the thirst person, which is an innovative feature, not a gimmick. You know, you can write it there and then put it in quotes and stick it right after the word paragraph. And that's going to be your marketing speak. And we really need to get that to be at least 5 sentences. It's really best to have five. You don't really, you could, I don't recommend doing any special HTML in there. Just, you can use bold, you can use italic, but I would just stick to straight up text. You could use a BR in there, you know, but you're going to see it be different on different, uh, you know, this thing can be viewed on different platforms. So, for example, if I do Control Shift J, you'll see that it's scaled down. So, just about 4 or 5 sentences, maybe 6 or 7 if you have a lot to say. Uh, and you can, see that it's going to be different on mobile. It is a little messed up at the top, unfortunately, on mobile sometimes, but generally that's going to be, these different mobile platforms are going to make it look different. So be aware of that. And the amount of text, should match the height of your image, I guess. It doesn't have to. Carrier is a good example of like almost perfect. It's a little bit bigger than the image. I like it when the image is bigger than the text and everything. Look, this one used BRs and it looks fine. So just be aware that that is something you can do. So I guess for the example here, I'm just going to keep this BR in there, which means line break. Okay, so and then if I wanted to do this, I could do like bold slash bold. You can do URL if you're really slick, but there's no reason to. It's already linked by the title of the game, the go button, and the image all lead to your link back. So uh, I would focus more on getting these URLs and populated and everything. So if you only have one game to add, that's it. Now you're going to commit the changes. It would be really great if you said something like update data and then by, Kraz Productions or whoever it is, and then commit changes. All right. And now you've got these updated, or even better, you could change this to say added hero game would be a good one. All right, so we've made all the changes necessary. Now we go back here. Now, there's not really a way for you to test it. You have to have done it perfectly. And that's why it needs to be approved. That way, people don't make mistakes. So, I assume you have been very meticulous and you have no stray quotes or anything. But if you're a little bit nervous and you want to make sure you did everything okay, you can go to the data.js that you just modified. You can click the raw button. Now you've got the raw URL. You can do a Control A and Control C to copy it into the clipboard. And then you can go to JSON formatter, or actually JSON validator, right? Or even just, yeah. And you can paste it in here. And then if you go to the very top, you want to remove the let equals. Okay. So it's just the bracket and then everything else. And this probably won't work either, actually. Yeah, there's a comment. Let's go to JavaScript validator. Okay, validate. I mean, Code Beautify is a good one. Let's do that one. Codebeautify.org. Paste it in there without making any changes, and then avoid this ad at the bottom. Click validate JS. It automatically did it. It said unexpected let. Uh, so I'm not sure why that's unexpected. But I'm looking through this and I see that there aren't any other issues other than that. Maybe though, this sucked. Why isn't there a better validator? Let's look at validatejavascript.com. What's that look like? Okay, that looks pretty clean. Now let's paste that in there. And it says find and fix. Okay, well, that's fine. It says IndieDEVs is assigned a value, but never used. Well, that's fine. And it actually added the word const there. But we're not changing this. This is not something, we're just making sure that there aren't any syntax errors in the block that you added. That's why we're doing this. So, looks good. This is all optional. You don't have to do this. If you feel confident, you can just submit it. And even if you haven't done it 100% perfect, at least it's close enough. But it's you're giving me work to do, and I don't like that. But anyway, okay, so we've made the changes. All right. Sorry, I'm getting all over the place. All right, we've made the changes. We've got the two commits, which was the image and the update to data.js, which included the information about your game. And then you can click. Okay. Okay. Contribute. Right. Contribute. Open pull request. Now it's going to say, you're going to call it like, this is Hero Game from Kraz Prod, right? And then you're adding a description. I've uploaded my images and double checked my JavaScript changes to data.js, and it includes all of the right URLs and marketing speak, and I'm excited to get it up on the website. And then you create the pull request. You want to make sure that allow edits by maintainers is checked just in case I have to fix something. But this would be, you click this button, and now it's created a pull request number 2 in the original repo. We're back there. Okay. The fork that you created is gone, but the changes are here and the files are here. If you click files changed, you'll see that we added this game. And this is what I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at this and I'm going to go, okay, he's adding a game and it looks to be validated. Maybe I'll copy and paste it into a validator. And then I'll look down here. Oh, there's a lovely picture of the hero game. And I'll check the file size probably. Oh, it's like 1.5 megs. Well, that's okay, I guess. And then, that sounds good. And then, all right. And then I'll review the changes. And now I might review this. You can review this. Other people can review this, but you're not able to finally make the change because you're not. Comment. Yeah, all you can do is comment. You cannot approve or request changes. So I would be the one that would do that. I might request a change of you. I might just change it myself. I might even merge your changes and then make changes after that, but probably not. And then in a few seconds after that, the website is updated. So this was kind of a long video, but it went through everything that I want you to do. And I'm going to now go and cut it up. But thanks a lot, guys. This saves me so much time and energy because it forces you to get this stuff together rather than making me do it, which I've been doing and I will probably have to keep doing, but I really don't like to do it because if you want your marketing to be up, you should be doing your marketing. If you want to pay me, if you give me $10, I'll be more interested in doing it for you. Maybe $20, but depending on what I have to do. It's like a task, and I appreciate you guys. I really love having the community. I want to keep building it and going strong with it. And I just hope that we can continue to help each other. There's a lot more that we do for each other. This is just one way that I can sort of automatically help people, pseudo automatically. And Happy New Year.